morning. You're with Wake Up Rochester. This is Larry Black. It's 1 minute before 7 a.m. We're going to be joined this morning by Charles Hill and Ray Lovato and give you all sorts of things. I've got a traffic report for you in a minute, and before that, let's do the weather with Leslie.
Cloudy today with periods of snow. Expect flurries tonight. Today's high 35, tonight's low 22, downtown 34 degrees.
Well, that just sounds like a winter. It's 7 a.m. this morning. Wake up, Rochester. It's time for you to get up and get going. I think this morning we probably will curtail our conversation to the telephone company strike, in that when we ask for you to call, we will precede that with a question for you. The number you can write down now if you'd like is 222-3545. I have pet peeves with the telephone company, as I've made fairly obvious in times past. I do not like operators telling me it's in your telephone book, look for it there. That kind of annoys me. But we probably should stay away from those things and direct ourselves specifically to either to the questions at hand, which we'll be giving you. Yes.
Perhaps we should mention at this point that perhaps we should mention now that yesterday we had Robert Flavin with us, in case you weren't with us yesterday morning. And we, as we should do, we offered Rochester Telephone Company equal time to rebut some of the things that Mr. Flavin had to say about the strike. And the phone company refused. They said they didn't think it was an issue that needed to be discussed publicly. And, of course, we disagree there. And so instead of hearing the phone company, we'll hear from you, the public.
Do you think there's a distrust of the news media from the telephone company standpoint, or is that something that has evolved out of Watergate, in that, you know, news media is going to take it and run with it?
I don't think there's a distrust. I think they're tired over there, and I don't blame them. I think they're tired of the strike, and I think they're tired of talking about it, and I think they'd probably prefer that we didn't talk about it.
Okay, specifically what we'll be asking you this morning is if you think the phone company owes you a refund because they've been serving you with 1,500 fewer employees. The telephone number is 222-3545, and we'll start taking calls in a few minutes. First, we're going to be checking with the morning news and the sports. This is WAXC Rochester, and here's Charles.
Good morning, Larry, and good morning, everyone. It's 34 degrees at 7:02. And Henry is heading home this morning. The state secretary spent the night in Paris and began the day with a breakfast meeting. He shared his bacon with the president of France, and before leaving, he told reporters what was discussed.
Energy and the preparations of a consumer producer conference, which are going ahead satisfactorily, and all the discussions were conducted, as the foreign minister pointed out, in the spirit of Martinique, that is, cooperation, frankness, and friendship.
Kissinger will arrive back in Washington later today. His trip to Europe and the Mideast was reportedly resulted in two major accomplishments. Iran has agreed to keep supplying Israel with oil, and secondly, the U.S. may guarantee Israel's security in return for another pullback on the Sinai Desert. Back in Washington, President Ford again twisting arms over coffee. A further report from Don Folsom.
Continuing his direct selling campaign for his embattled economic and energy programs, the president will try out his powers of persuasion on two separate congressional groups. Invited for breakfast with Ford are Southern senators, and tonight there will be a White House reception for freshman Republican House members. There will be similar meetings for the rest of the week, including one with the nation's governors. On Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, the president will take his salesmanship to Miami, where he will address a White House conference on domestic and economic affairs and hold a news conference. Don Folsom at the White House.
You're with Wake Up Rochester at 7:03, and this report sponsored by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of the Rochester area. Senate Democratic leaders have agreed on their own energy plan. It stresses a 1 cent a gallon gas tax increase, quotas on oil imports, and an income tax rebate plan combined with a tax cut. The plan would give the biggest break to poor and middle-income families. Here's a further report from Pi Chamberlain.
Congressional Democrats are close to assembling what they consider a better idea than President Ford's energy program, and they hope it will help them scuttle Ford's. The key issue is the Democratic move to delay Ford's new tax on foreign oil. The bill to stop that will pass the Senate today and go to the White House. The top Senate Democrat in a group writing an alternative program, Pastore of Rhode Island, thinks the new plan will help override Ford's veto.
I think it's going to be easy to override his veto regardless.
Really?
Absolutely, because of the injustice that's involved in it.
The Democratic plan hinges on a big tax cut and a gasoline tax which would increase as unemployment went down. Pi Chamberlain, Capitol Hill.
Employment keeps going down in Monroe County. Delco Products reporting that it will lay off another 245 workers effective Monday. That brings to 1,300 the number out of work at Delco. Meanwhile, the county reports that the welfare caseload showed its largest monthly increase last month as compared to the past 3 years. 629 new cases were added to the welfare rolls last month in Monroe County. A spokesman for the welfare department says he can't remember when it's gone up that much in 1 month. City firemen who just signed a new contract with the city say they're going on record as asking for a 25% wage hike for the next year of their contract. Union President Dan Coyne says it's only fair when you look at the cost of living and other contracts being signed. Richard Benveniste is in the area last night speaking to students at Hobart and William Smith Colleges in Geneva. WAXC's Bill Rhodes covered that speech in Geneva. As you recall, Benveniste was the former assistant special Watergate prosecutor, and many students asked about Ford's pardon of Nixon. He gave the background and called it an obviously political decision. The former prosecutor then praised the American system.
How many nations in the world could tolerate the kind of intense scrutiny we have witnessed in Watergate? How many nations are free enough to permit the kinds of trials and public hearings we have seen? And I want to emphasize, I'm not talking about the verdicts, I'm talking about the concept of a free and open trial.
Former Assistant Special Watergate Prosecutor Richard Benveniste at Hobart and William Smith Colleges last night. Residents in the town of Riga got together last night and sent a message to the city. Riga doesn't want your garbage. The town is a proposed landfill site, but residents say they'll fight before they're forced to take the city's trash. County lawmakers meet at noon today to debate the proposed bottle deposit law. It would require all bottlers to give a refund for returnable bottles and ban the non-returnable type. We'll be covering that meeting for you. City Councilman Paul Haney, the city's money specialist on council, says the answer to the city's money crunch is a countywide income tax. Well, you must have heard by this time, Muhammad Ali plans to start giving away all his winnings. Ali says he wants to help his people, but at least a few have questioned the champ's plan. Dick Body takes a look at that in Black to White.
For years, Muhammad Ali was criticized for being a conscientious objector. This criticism became criminal to some, so the system took his title away as heavyweight champion. He sat out for over 3 years before the system let him go to work again. Then 10 years after having won the championship, he beat George Foreman. He made many doubters losers and told all of them, "Don't you bet against me again." Now Ali has done what he should have done a long time ago. He's going to give all of the money away to black folks. Many critics say he won't give his money away. He can't do that. It's not fair to only give it to black people. Strange that white folks bitch at welfare when black folks are collecting it, and also they holler at self-help. In the interest of fairness, folks, you can't have it both ways. This is Richard Benjamin Body.
Dick Body's comment in Black to White is opinion. Contrasting points of view are welcome. You're with Wake Up Rochester. It's 7:07.
Open heart surgery. That's a term we're all familiar with today. But a little over 10 years ago, it was a brand new idea for saving ailing hearts. Since then, it's been perfected, a fact that has meant restored health for thousands of persons. It's an extremely delicate operation requiring several skills and special equipment. And of course, it's very expensive. A decade or so ago, open heart surgery and many other relatively new medical techniques would not have affected your Blue Shield premium. There was no need for such coverage, and many lives were lost as a result. Yes, it cost more. But when your life hangs in the balance, you're mighty glad medical science has made such giant strides. And you're also happy that Blue Shield has kept pace. It's another way your Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans look out for your protection, and why they're the people who work for your benefit.
Let's check the weather now, and here's Leslie.
Cloudy today with periods of snow. Expect flurries tonight. Today's high 35. Tonight's low 22. Downtown 34 degrees.
And this report sponsored by Blue Cross and Blue Shield, the people who work for your benefit. Larry?
Well, good morning. I'm sitting here talking to Ray Lovato. We're ignoring you this morning, Charles. It's 9 minutes after 7 a.m. from WAXC. We do have a traffic tie-up today, an accident on Emerson and Glide in the city. The effect on traffic isn't known as yet, but we'll be checking that for you a little bit later. There's another traffic problem. That's the only traffic problem report so far this morning, and I was just handed this. The usual tie-ups are reported in the can of worms. No other traffic problems. The accident we just told you about, according to city police, hadn't affected traffic. Well, we'll throw that one away. Forget it. It doesn't have anything to do with your driving this morning. If you're going down Emerson and Glide, just glide right on in. 10 minutes after 7, and let's see. Do we do a spot now, or do we go to Mr. Ray Lovato? I think we'll just go to a spot right now. We got a word from Waterbed Works after this.
It's that time of the morning. Wake up Rochester with WAXC.
Waterbed works better. You get waterbeds at their best. You H2O it to yourself to get a good night's rest.
And now's the perfect opportunity to buy that waterbed. With Kodak and Xerox bonus time almost here, Waterbed Works would like to remind you that you can purchase any of their finished bed units while sale prices are still in effect. And by using Waterbed Works Instant Credit, pay for it at bonus time. Just think of it. Pay at bonus time or show any credit card for instant financing. And Waterbed Works will deliver and set up your waterbed free of charge. Waterbed Works have 2 convenient locations, 199 Lyle Avenue and the newest and largest waterbed showroom at the corner of Winton and Jefferson Roads in Henrietta. Come see us. We're Waterbed Works, the waterbed people.
You H2O it to yourself to see Waterbed Works.
Well, it's 11 minutes after 7. Ray, is anything exciting happening in the world of sports?
Not really, but we're going to tell you about it anyway. 11 minutes after 7 o'clock, Canada Dry, the sponsor this morning, the champagne and ginger ale. There was something exciting happening yesterday. Down in sunny Florida, O.J. Simpson won the Superstars competition, winning the bowling event and the 100-yard dash. Our question this morning for a case of Canada Dry, who was the very first winner of the Superstars competition? Remember, Kyle Rowe Jr. won it last year. Who won it in '73? We'll take the 6th caller, 222-3545. Quite a ruckus last night in the NBA in the game between the Knicks and Golden State. New York won it 99-98, but only 40 seconds into that game, some bumping going on. And Bill Bradley and Rick Barry got into it. Barry blames Dollar Bill.
It seems to be a general rule. Anybody, if you follow the game, I'm sure you witness it. You see a guy who's not known as a defensive player, he gets put on a good offensive player. Well, he figures that, well, I'm supposed to stop this guy, and he's got the reputation of being an offensive player, so I should be allowed to bump him and bang him because he's a good player, and he should be able to accept it. Well, that's a crock of baloney. I mean, you know, you got to expect to get something in return, and a good defensive player will accept it, as I mentioned to Busher as an example. I never had a run-in with Dave, because if he held and bumped and banged, I would bump him and bang and hold back, and, you know, you don't have any problems there. But a guy who's not good doesn't accept it as well.
That fight must have had some kind of a psychological effect on Barry. He was well under his average last night. The Knicks, though, beating Golden State, winning a game that saw a 5-game losing streak go down the drain for New York. Buffalo beat Phoenix 124-109. McAdoo had 41 for the Braves, and New Orleans won its 3rd straight. The Jazz, the losingest team in the NBA, beating Philly last night 103-85. And now in hockey in the NHL, it was Buffalo over the Islanders 3-2. Rene Robert scored 2 more goals. He's got 34 now, and the Islanders have not beaten Buffalo all year. Kansas City and the Rangers tied 2-2. And Montreal now unbeaten on the road in 19 games, but still 1 win away from the Stanley Cup playoffs. They tied the Blues last night 4-4. In the World Hockey Association, Winnipeg 5, Baltimore 3. Bobby Hull scoring his 51st and 52nd goals, and who says he still can't skate? One game in the American Hockey League, it was Syracuse over Springfield 7-5. Tonight, the Amerks take on the Nighthawks in New Haven, and the Amerks still 1 point behind Nova Scotia.
Anytime you have a big thirst, the Big Dry soft drink is what you gotta try. Try it up with Canada Dry. Try it up with Canada Dry.
Anytime you have a big thirst, don't try to drown it. Dry it up with something dry, something not too sweet, but crisp and satisfying, like the Dry soft drink.
Try it up with Canada Dry. Ginger ale, try it up with Canada Dry.
7:13 this morning, the U of R losing its 14th game last night, 113-99 to Hamilton College. The Yellow Jackets pulled it within 5 in the final minutes, but Hamilton pulled away. High man for the U of R, senior Damian Upson, he had 32. High school basketball, just highlighting some of the games in the county. Rush Henrietta kept winning 79-62 over Pitt Mendon. Fairport 93, East Rochester 58. In the City Catholic League, it was East 83, Franklin 60. And a reminder, you can get all the scores on Super Jock at 232 800-2630. It's 7:14. Let's go to the telephone.
Well, on the telephone with us, we've got Tim Henry from William Street in East Rochester. 14 minutes after 7. Tim, here we go with the question.
Let's see how East Rochester does on the Superstar competition this morning. O.J. Simpson won it yesterday. Kyle Rode Jr., the defending champion, who won it the first time Superstars was held in 1973?
Bob Seger.
Absolutely right. And by the way, he came in second this year. And you know what he said about O.J. winning it, Larry? He said, O.J. needs that like a hole in the head. And there's your sports this morning. It's presented by Canada Dry, the champagne ginger ale. I'll be back in an hour.
This is WAXC in Wake Up Rochester.
Come pick a dream or two of precious things that will live with you all through the years. Come pick a dream or two at the present company, where we take the time to think about you.
The diamond experts at the present company will take the time to conscientiously guide you in the selection of an engagement ring, a lady's fashion ring, a handsome diamond for a man. Presence has over half a century of diamond experience. Our diamond prices are lower at the present company. Diamond selections are greater, and your diamond purchase is certified, registered, and guaranteed by the present company. St. Paul Street downtown, Panorama Plaza, Stone Ridge Plaza, and Town and Country Plaza, Geneva.
If you're a housewife and thinking of going back to work to start a second career, there are many skills you'll need to fit into today's new environment. Rochester Business Institute can help you with fast, efficient, and inexpensive training to meet the requirements of today's employers. Classes start March 3rd, so call now for information. Rochester Business Institute at 325-7290. That's 325-7290.
This reminds me of old-time radio. You hear all sorts of stories about old-time radio where you're there, you're doing it live.
You were there, Larry, weren't you?
I ain't that old, son. It's 17 minutes after 7 a.m. Let's try a wake-up call real quick. As we begin to get telephone calls, we could go ahead and do that. I'm going to make a telephone call here. Why don't you go ahead and give the information on what we're going to be talking about this morning,
right? The question we're going to be asking this morning is, do you think the phone company owes you a refund because they've been serving you with 1,500 fewer employees, the 1,500 people that have been on strike for the past 12 weeks? Now, obviously, that saved the phone company some money. We want to know if you think the phone company owes you a rebate or a refund for doing that. The number to call will be 222-3545, and we'd like you to limit your comments to the phone strike and the specific question we've asked. Of course, if you have another comment regarding the strike, we'd be willing to take that also.
Ray, I just have our wake-up call
Chuck
on the...
is the name.
Ray.
Yeah.
Where's Ray go? What happened to Ray? Ray!
It says right here on the script, Larry.
Yes.
It's Chuck.
I was on the wrong line. Is this Midge?
It sure is.
You don't sound like Frank Lamb, it's for sure. How you doing this morning, Midge?
I'm doing fine.
This is Wake Up Rochester, WAXC, and I'm Larry Black.
Hello.
And we wanted to make sure you were awake this morning, Midge.
Well, I don't know if I weren't. I can say this to you. I don't know of a better way to wake up than to a phone call from you.
How come all politicians are alike? I mean, Frank Lamb.
In my case, I have many reasons. But
You're running for election again, huh, Midge? I called Frank Lamb yesterday, and he said the same thing.
Did he really?
If I made an obscene phone call, would you have said the same thing?
No, I would have asked you to hold on.
Hold on for a moment, please. Midge, thank you very much. Good morning to you. Have a good day.
18 minutes after 7 a.m., and we do have some telephone calls. Let's take one and see what happens. Good morning. You're with Wake Up Rochester.
I don't think they really owe you a rebate or anything because in most cases it hasn't affected your service.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, Wake Up Rochester. Good morning.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
All right.
You're going to call for a request, aren't you?
Yeah.
See? I knew it. Wake up.
Well,
play Ben for me, would you?
We're trying something new here this morning. We should explain. Telephone talk on the radio has been a very effective thing now for several years, and
usually
we thought
late
we'd
at
try
night,
it.
though.
Yeah,
usually late at night.
It's an early hour to try it, but we thought we'd try this. There's a few more.
Wake Up Rochester. Good morning.
Well, I think that they really do owe us at least half our phone bill back. they're operating with less than half their employees right now.
So you think they should give you half back?
At least. If you multiply it out, you figure more than $10,000 a person a year salary.
Right.
You work that on a weekly basis, and they're saving in the millions of dollars.
All right, question. Has your phone service been affected at all?
Not at all.
Not at all? Okay, thank you very much. Wake Up Rochester.
I think they do owe us a rebate.
All right, do you pay the phone bill?
What?
Do you pay the phone bill?
Yeah.
Your mom or dad pays the phone bill, right?
Yeah.
Have you noticed a decrease in service?
No.
Okay, thank you. Wake Up Rochester.
Yeah, I think they should give us a rebate because the proposed rate increases are going to even go higher, and with the less amount of people working, I think we're owed at least some money from the phone company.
Okay, let me ask you the same question. Have you noticed any decrease in service?
Yes, I do, because my phone goes out of order every once in a while now, and it takes longer to get it fixed.
Okay, thank you very much. Wake Up Rochester.
Can I have Morning Side of the Mountain, please?
Can I hear Morning Side of the Mountain, please? Sure, we'll be happy to. We'll pipe it down your telephone.
Was that nasty?
That was a little rough for this hour. The poor
touch of
kid calling
sarcasm?
up here, Larry. You know, it's...
Well, pipe it down your broken telephone is what we'll do. It's 21 minutes after 7. You're with Wake Up Rochester. Good morning.
Hi.
Hi there.
Good morning to you.
Excuse me?
Good morning to you.
Well, good morning to me, too.
Oh, well, I'm calling about the refund.
Yes.
I mean, they really should listen to their employees on strike, but the service really isn't affected, so they're paying for the service, not for the people they employ. But the bill is sort of high. I mean, they might want to lower it, but it has nothing to do with that.
Okay, thank you very much for your call. Charles, you want to do that one?
Yeah, Wake Up Rochester. You're on the air.
No, I definitely don't think we deserve a rebate.
Why is that, ma'am?
Why? Well, to begin with, we're getting the same sort of service. And I'd like to make this comment. Your comment...
If I could interrupt you, the point has been made by the union, at least, that you may be receiving the same service, but you certainly are getting the service, or it's costing the phone company less to provide that service. Since it's costing the phone company less, perhaps they owe you some money. Now, how would you react to that?
Definitely not.
You don't think so?
Okay, you were on the verge of making a point. What was your point, ma'am?
No, I'd like to make this point, that you made the comment before that you have a gripe against the telephone company because when you ask for a number, they say, I'm sorry, it's listed in the book.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, the reason they had to do this was because of the amount of children calling in. You just had a call similar to that. And this is exactly why the telephone company had to put this in, because when school was let out, they had many, many calls.
Yeah, I understand the reasoning behind it. There's just something that I find personally offensive about that. Even from a business sense, even if I'm calling for a business telephone number and I have nothing, have no telephone book with me, they always say, it's in your phone book.
You see, they're taught by their superiors to say this.
Yeah, I know. When I first got to Rochester 3 years ago, I called a supervisor and said, hey, why do you do that? And finally worked my way up their red tape ladder and found out that that's exactly what they encourage their people to do. So I just have a response. My little response, I've no longer told them I don't have a phone book, or I can't see, or would they please send me a different phone book. I just now say, would you give me the number, please? I figure that's the nicest way of handling it.
Right.
Because I wouldn't be calling them, in my case, I would not be calling them if I had the phone book handy. Thank you very much for your comments, ma'am.
Okay.
We'll be back with Wake Up Rochester in just a minute. It's 23 minutes after 7.
Good morning. This is Wake Up Rochester on WAXC.
There's a feeling around, it's America's sound. Pepsi people feeling free. Free to choose a new way, free to stand up and say, you be you and I'll be me.
Choose the Boss, Pepsi's new 64-ounce bottle. The Boss features convenient handling, resealable cap, and 2 quarts of delicious Pepsi. Bring home the Boss. It's Pepsi's biggest bottle.
Join the Pepsi people. Feeling free, feeling free. Join the Pepsi people. Feeling free, feeling free. All across the nation.
It can happen at any time. Listen for that sound. It's McDonald's roving manager ready to give some lucky customer a chance to win a McDonald's 7 Great Ingredients t-shirt.
2 all-beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Those are the 7 great ingredients in a McDonald's Big Mac. We don't expect you to sing them, just read them. Okay, pal, you know the 7 ingredients in a Big Mac?
I think so.
If you can do it in 4 seconds or less, I'll give you a Big Mac t-shirt. How's that?
Okay.
Okay, he's going to hold up that card, and you go ahead and read.
12 beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, on sesame seed bun.
You did it. You just won yourself a McDonald's Big Mac t-shirt. Congratulations. How did you get that so fast?
I always practice.
2 all-beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
That's the way it works. Just listen for the roving manager's whistle at participating McDonald's, and maybe you'll be a winner. No purchase necessary.
You deserve a break today at McDonald's.
Charles, it's now 25 minutes after 7. You've got 4 seconds. Say it. 1, 2, 3, 4. He bagged
sorry,
it.
I can't.
Here's Leslie with the weather.
Cloudy today with periods of snow. Expect flurries tonight. Today's high 35. Tonight's low 22. Downtown 34 degrees.
We're on the telephone this morning on Wake Up Rochester. The question we're asking is, do you think the phone company owes you a refund or a rebate because they've been serving you with 1,500 fewer employees? Who's on the phone?
Well, I already talked to you, so I don't want to be on long and hog it from other people. But can my cat talk to you really quickly?
Okay, go ahead.
Billy?
Hello?
Did you hear?
Yes, we heard that.
Did you get on the radio?
Yes, she got on the radio.
Thank you.
Some people are strange in the morning, Larry. Good morning. You're on Wake Up Rochester.
Yeah, I don't think that everybody should get a rebate. I just think that maybe the people that had their phones installed by management should get at least a partial rebate.
How about those that just had phone difficulties during this time?
Well, yeah, I myself haven't had any difficulty at all. Maybe there shouldn't be any rebate at all. After all, your local service charge is based on the cost of facilities, more or less.
Okay, thank you very much. Wake Up Rochester.
Hi, I don't really think that there should be any rebates because I think service has generally been unaffected by the strike.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much for your comment. WAXC, good morning.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on that. I think that not only should no rebate be given, but I think that management for Rochester Telephone ought to be commended for doing such an outstanding job with 1,500 fewer employees. I think Flavin said it, that these people are working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and they continue to do a fantastic job. What I'd like to see is a stop to this unionism in this country, right, or at least now in this county. And I think the Rochester Telephone, if they need help, should be able to go down to the unemployment office and pick up people who really need to work and would like to work, rather than these silly strikes that continue to stoke the fires of inflation. I guess you keep asking for more and more, the spiraling cost of everything starts going up.
Well, I
Thank
think
you very much. Okay.
The point that you made that the management people have done a good job, I think, is a point well taken. It's something we haven't talked about. We're not anti-union or anti-management. We're just trying to discuss the issues, and I thank you for your comment.
Thank you. I have one comment to make, just briefly. I've met some management people who were now back on the streets again, repairing phones, and they had smiles on their faces. Now, all those guys came up through the ranks, as I understand it in most cases. They came up from linemen and so forth, worked their way on up the line. And they had smiles on their faces from the standpoint they were enjoying being out again away from that desk and the red tape. I don't know if that's somewhat significant or not. I don't know if the Peter principle works in this case.
Well, I think it's been a change of pace. Of course, I think all of them would agree now that it's gotten past that point. They're all pretty tired of it.
Well, I feel sorry for the families, because they're the ones who really suffer.
On both sides. On both sides.
Sure they do. Sure. Okay, it's 28 minutes after 7. Thank you for your calls. I'm sorry we don't have time to take any more telephone calls. It was delightful. Y'all done right well on the Wake Up Rochester show.
You're with WAXC's early morning show, Wake Up Rochester.
This is Star Country, land of the free and save. When it comes to savings on really fine foods and free gifts for top value stamps, Star Market is the place to shop. Star gives you a shopping bonus of top value stamps with all your purchases. And this week, all 40 stars invite you to save extra stamps with a special full-page newspaper ad of Star Country coupons. There are 6 coupons, each worth 50 top value stamps when you buy great Star values. And what values? Star has California navel oranges at 39 cents less than last week. Country style bread at 41 cents saving on every 3 loaves you buy. Food Club fresh creamery butter at 14 cents saving per pound. Clip the Star Country coupon worth 100 bonus top value stamps with a Star purchase of $10 or more. Clip all the coupons for 400 top value stamps and take home great food values too from Star Markets, the fine food people.
Good morning. It's 34 degrees at 7:30, and let's check briefly the morning headlines. Secretary of State Kissinger will be back in Washington this morning, and as he returns, American officials confirm that Egypt has suggested Israel give up some of its captured lands in return for a U.S. guarantee of safety from Arab attack. The Senate is set to vote on a bill to suspend for 90 days President Ford's power to increase the tariff on imported oil. Vice President Nelson Rockefeller will speak at the winter session of the National Governors Conference in Washington in an open session later this morning. And since September, the county's welfare rolls have seen a steady increase, and last month was no exception. In fact, a record was set as welfare caseloads increased by 629 cases last month alone. That's the largest increase in the last 3 years. Richard Benveniste, the prosecutor in the Watergate trials, told an audience last night at Hobart and William Smith Colleges that while Watergate brought to light our imperfections, it also demonstrated the strengths of our institutions in a free society. The City Firemen's Union, which just last month reached a new 2-year contract agreement with the city, will reportedly ask for a 25% pay increase for the next year of their contract. Firefighters Association President Dan Coyne says the union's wage commitment is comparing recent wage settlements and contracts with a rising cost of living and inflation. The town of Riga has sent a message to Rochester. It's direct and right to the point. Put very simply, the people of Riga don't want any part of Rochester's garbage. About 130 Riga residents attended a hearing in Riga last night and afterwards decided that under any circumstances they'd oppose a landfill in their town. You're with Wake Up Rochester. It's 7:31.
You hear more from Lafayette.
At Lafayette, our prices are the lowest. We guarantee you can't buy for less or Lafayette returns your money. If you buy electronic equipment at Lafayette and see it for less at another store, bring it back within 30 days of purchase, and Lafayette will give you back your money. We guarantee the lowest price. That's one reason why you hear more from Lafayette.
Lafayette wants you to pocket the savings on the Unitrex Mini 8 pocket-sized calculator. This small 8-digit calculator has a big electronic brain with percent key, an automatic constant that works on all functions. Regularly $19.95, the Unitrex Mini 8 calculator is Lafayette sale priced at only $17.88 now through Friday, February 21st. So hurry to Lafayette.
You hear more from Lafayette.
Lafayette Radio Electronics, your complete electronic shopping center.
Here's a quick look at last night's ball games. Buffalo over the New York Islanders 3-2 in hockey in the National Basketball Association. Buffalo 124, Phoenix 109. And in college basketball, it was Hamilton 113, the U of R 99. Here's Leslie with the weather.
Cloudy today with periods of snow. Expect flurries tonight. Today's high 35. Tonight's low 22. Downtown 34 degrees.
And we have no traffic problems to speak of at this hour.
That's right, 28 minutes before 8 a.m., WAXC Rochester. Tomorrow's guest will be Freddie Smith, and we'll be talking about radio commercial jingles and how they're made, and what makes some of them effective, what makes some of them bombs.
Should be a good show.
It sure. Freddie's a very outspoken guy. Maybe we can get him awake, actually.
Sure. I think he'd like to get back on the radio.
That's one of his things. 27 minutes before 8 a.m. Good morning. It's Wake Up Rochester. This is Marie Maltawa. At this hour.
Well, I can wash out 44 pairs of socks to have them on the line. You know, I can start you 9 dozen shirts, but you can count 1 to 9. Well, I can slip up a great big dip up a lot from a dripping scale. Throw it in a skillet, do my shopping and be back. sick, you know